Okay, welcome to the second Data Analytics Jamboree here at CEU. And Halloween is done, but I'm dressed as a middle-aged college professor, and that's going to be my spiel. And so the event is co-organized with the Vienna Data Science Group, and we are very happy to have been collaborating a lot with them, and they will say a few words about themselves. The Jamboree is really about shortish talks, so please keep it tight. A lot of questions, interactions, networking. You will have a variety of different talks, and I hope you will enjoy. My name is Gábor Békés. I'm an associate professor at the Department of Economics. Some of you had this pleasure of coming to my class. Others may have the pleasure later on. Others are just completely free of me and live a very happy and fulfilled life. So the plan for today is we are going to start very shortly, but I have some public announcements, if I can read. So the first is fire exits are wherever they should be. Toilets are certainly in that direction. Photos and videos will be taken and later posted on CEU and the Vienna Data Science Group social media. I hope that's going to be okay. All speakers, please speak to the microphone as I'm doing now, and I wasn't doing before, but I'm doing now. So welcome again. And please be aware that food and drinks provided may contain common allergens. That's the end of service announcement. I would like to also do a little bit of promotion. So this Jamboree is built very much with the people from our Masters in Business Analytics. It's a one-year program. And those of you who don't know us, this is a fantastic mix of analytics, engineering, and soft skill classes that will hopefully make you a good worker in the data ecosystem. So without further ado, I would like to hand over to Carsten Schneider. He's a professor here at CEU. He's also the interim president and director at CEU. We are very happy to have him. Please.
Well, I'm certainly here as in my role as an interim president director. I wouldn't dare to address such a group, even though I'm a methodologist, and part of the point I want to make is indeed on that. So I'm very delighted and quite impressed by the crowd you have been gathering, and I thank everyone for coming, and also especially those who have been organizing this at CEU, Gábor Békés and colleagues, and Francesca Conselvan from the Vienna Data Science Group. Yes, I understand that the focus of the Jamboree, and you will have to explain to me exactly what a Jamboree is on the use and perhaps also the abuse of new technologies for gathering and analyzing data in business, and the related, very important question, what is it that we as a university should teach students so that they can have a successful and fulfilling professional life? What is it that the job market requires and expects from people seeking a job? So I'm certainly not going to make a mistake to even pretend that I can say something remotely new or interesting to a crowd like that, because you're experts on these topics, and you have most of the things already heard before. So I will pull the usual trick. I just divert the topic to something I feel a little bit more comfortable, which is methods education at CEU. So we pride ourselves, and I think rightly so, in offering a thorough education and training in methods and techniques very broadly understood. In fact, I believe it is one of CEU's strengths that no paradigm, school, or approach dominates across the board, because this allows us to attract world-class faculty from very different, sometimes opposing fields of methodology. And it means that our students have the chance to get a broad exposure to methods and learn a variety of complementary skills. Pluralism rules at CEU. It is therefore no coincidence, for instance, that CEU hosts one of the biggest social science methods summer schools. And it's also no coincidence that after almost a decade of a hiatus that is explained by things that happened in Budapest, we now come back to the idea of establishing a methods hub at CEU to amplify our excellence. So across the university, we will galvanize our method strengths. So one of the fastest growing, popular and successful strands is, of course, data science. And CU prides itself with having a pretty unique department of data and network science, but our students can learn and research in this field across the university, from econ, of course, to political science and public policy. So, in coming to an end, and somewhat contradicting what I said at the beginning, that I won't venture into making any suggestions, I now do so. And I say that everything else being equal, the better data scientist is the one who has also been trained in other methods. Yes, including some qualitative approaches for drawing inferences that are not based on massive and structured data. And again, everything else being equal, the better data scientist is the one who has also been exposed to the limits and blind spots of her or his own approach. So, but probably this is also something you have heard before, or you might even agree. And therefore, I stop here and I wish you a successful Jamboree, which sounds much more fun than a workshop or a conference. So.
So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Francesca. Some of you already know me. I'm a researcher data scientist at eThink Energy Research. It's a spin-off from the Technical University of Vienna. We work in the energy sector, in building and decarbonizing the building sector. I also teach here at the CU, and I'm also board member of the Vienna Data Science Group, organizing events for the community. If you didn't join. It's a really nice community. So today I'm going to introduce you the first speaker, Alex Fischer. Alex has a background in economics, and he's working as a data scientist at Trivago. He's the engineer that compare hotel prices. And today he's going to present my secret leave as a product manager. So let's welcome Alex. Please, I give you the floor.
Can I stay point? All right. So with this, I can start. So hi, my name is Alex. And yeah, as been said, I work at Trivago as a data scientist during the day, and during the night, I develop open source software. Econometric open source software in Python. The package is called PyFixest, and basically it implements all the regression things that you learn in a Gabor's class that you have in other software languages, in R, in Stata. You can do it in Python with PyFixest. And so given kind of the program that many of you are in, kind of having this mix of engineering, data science, and a business perspective, I was thinking, okay, I have this open source project, which is basically a data science project because we implement regression methods over there. It is software engineering at its heart because it's package development. But there's the other component of it that I want to talk about today. It's kind of, my secret life as a product manager, which is typically the third role that you will find in tech companies outside of engineering and data scientists. And there's a product management playbook that I think you Google a little bit around, you can find some tricks on how to build a product. And I more or less accidentally stumbled over these tricks building PyFixest. And so this is what I want to talk about today. All right. So basically, what you start out with, if you have a new initiative, you have a new project idea, say, you have to think about, okay, you have to find what is called product market fit. Yeah. So basically, the question is, if you build this product, will people be interested in using it? Is there actually a problem that you are solving? And for me, with PyFixest, it actually started with me transitioning from academia to industry. So in econ academia, everyone is running one specific methodology called fixed effects regression. So you might know this, you throw in these high-dimensional fixed effects into a regression routine, and if you don't do it in a smart way, then you will wait for a couple of hours before your estimation actually finishes. And there's efficient routines in Stata, it's called RecHDFE, there's an efficient routine in R, a package called Fixest that is super, super good. But when I started coming outside of academia, there was no such thing in the Python ecosystem. Now, at the same time, I joined a team, no one was using R, everyone was using Python. And then here's the kind of problem. I wanted to run fixed effects regression because people like to continue doing what they have been doing in the past, but I couldn't do it in Python. So there was a clear problem for me to solve, right? At the same time, the solution space was pretty clearly defined. In the R world, we have the PyFixest package, which is fast, it is user-friendly, has great ergonomics, you can do a bunch of things with it, right? If you know it. And this is how the product idea actually came into place, yeah? So how about building PyFixest, but in Python, so that people don't have to go and use PyFixest through RPy2, which is a package that glues Python on R, if they want to fix fixed effect regression. And then you think about, is there actually a target market in this product space? Yeah. So who could be your users? And my conclusion was fundamentally that my users, that would be you. Yeah. So students doing econometrics classes, learning about econometrics for the first time, about regression for the first time, that are looking to potentially go out to industry to apply these methods. And in industry, you would typically do this in Python. And so then you can define a quality bar. Basically, it should be as high as possible, right? Because I want people to use research with the tool. So this is basically a solution space. I had the problem. I know there's a solution that exists that I can formulate. And then the question really is, okay, how severe is the problem? Is there really a market for the solution that you're trying to build? And it turns out that really, if you go into tech industry, everyone is using Python. This is what runs in production. This is what machine learning models are being built with. And this is also what people try to do statistics in at the end of the day. And so there was clear market need. And then also here you have the small chart. You probably cannot see anything. This is from Stack Overflow. And basically what you see on this line is the growth of Python over time as a programming language in popularity. And then you see some lines here. This one here is R, so it's kind of steady growth. And so if you build a new product, right, what you really want to be in is a macro environment that is actually growing and growing a lot. And so this was the case with Python. And then what is super cool, it's not just growing a lot, but you have this massive baseline. Yeah. So then you can think of, okay, if you build a great product in the solution space, maybe people are actually going to use it. Okay. So this is kind of finding product market fit. And after kind of this idea was in my head, what you do then typically is customer validation. So you actually go out and say, hey, I have this idea. What do you think of it? Should I build this or not? Is there a market need? What do you think? And so basically what you can do is either you call people directly, yeah, or you spend too much time on social media and see what people are actually saying there. And more or less, this is what you see here, right? So the pointer not working, unfortunately. Here. No, here. Here. No, this is not good. So I will not do this. But so basically, people are saying, oh, I switched to PyFixest. And it's tremendously faster than the alternative solution that I have employed. So this was compared to Stata. So clear quality marker. We have other researchers saying, I do everything in Python, but I cannot run fixed effects regression in Python. So what I do, I use this glue language called RPy2 to actually call R from Python, which is very cumbersome and error prone. And then you have Gabor, yours truly, basically saying, oh, we need something like PyFixest in Python. Yeah, and actually Gabor has been saying this a lot. Yeah, so great validation for me. So this is step 2. You seek out, okay, I have this idea for a product. Is there a need for it? What do people actually say? Okay, and so I had this validation, mostly coming from social media. And then here comes step 3. And I think this is actually the most essential one. It's really, okay, just build the solution. Yeah, just do it and see if it gains traction. And there's a kind of economics joke that signifies this. And I hope you all know it. And it goes like this. 2 economists walk down the street and they find a $100 bill lying around. And then one says to the other, surely I shouldn't be picking this up because if it was real, someone else would have picked it up already. Haha. Okay, and so the idea is that there are efficient markets and valuable ideas and valuable products that are just not lying around in the streets, right? If there was a great idea, someone else would have picked it up already. If there was a need in the market for a Python regression package, someone would have built it already. And so this is basically what I heard Ned Friedman say, who was a former CEO of GitHub. Yeah, who actually back in the days, he had this super cool initiative on these Vesuvius scrolls. I'm not sure if you recall these. So basically what happened, there's that the Vesuvius erupted and the entire city of Pompeii was destroyed. And I think maybe 20 years ago, people found these ancient scrolls that were pretty broken and shattered, but quite well preserved overall. And obviously, then researchers wanted to know what is actually written down in these scrolls. And he started this Vesuvius challenge, asking ML researchers to use machine learning tools to try to decipher what is actually being written in these scrolls. And so basically he was saying, yeah, maybe this is almost impossible to do, but if I don't encourage people to do it, if we don't try, it's not going to work out. Yeah, and so this basically, I think, the right attitude. Yeah, so just build the thing. Yeah, and maybe it's going to work out. And so this is then fundamentally what I did here. So you see the first commit. This is on November 19th, 2022. So I had kind of dabbled around a little bit. There was like a prototype. It was kind of working. It wasn't so good. And then here this thing happens. Yeah, the hello world moment of ChatGTP. And then all of a sudden I thought, okay, now I have this new aid. I played around with LLMs. I realized, okay, now I have help. So this might actually work out. And this actually encouraged me. And so then I built a little bit and say hello world. Basically also on Twitter back when social media was still working. I said, okay, I built this MVP. It's not really good. Is there interest in there? I'm committed to building this. Just kind of push it out to the world. And again, the kind of story was, if no one else is doing it, then it's also okay to kind of release something that is not perfect, where the code quality might not have the highest standards that you want, because that's basically the only solution that exists out there. And so then basically you have the step 4, you go back into validation mode. And so I said, okay, here I have this done, and then again, 46 likes on Twitter, were enough for me to say, okay, there's market demand. Okay, I should go ahead. Okay, so maybe slightly irrational, but this is how it went. Okay, and then basically the MVP was shipped, and then it's really about building more features, building it out. So what I started doing, I had this MVP. I started using it in Trivago for some analysis that I was running. So I was basically my first user for this initiative. And then I just added features continuously, on and on and on and on. And most importantly, I built things fast. And I will tell you later why I think building things fast was important. So this also implied embracing tech debt. Yeah, I'm not sure if we have engineers here in the room. Kevin is one for sure. So engineers usually hate tech debt, because it makes their life harder down the road. But if you're building things, it's, I think, actually required to build up a lot of tech debt, because it allows you to move fast and iterate things. And you can always clean up the mess later, unless management incentives are not aligned. But that was basically the strategy here. And this is then how it looked like. So build the MVP, push it out to PyPI, which is the Python package repository from which you download most of the Python package. And then I just released a lot of improvements very, very quickly. So it was IV estimation, there was some new methods. So I did a refactoring announcement. No one was interested in that, by the way. So this is what happens in industry and real life. Just basically added new features and added them quickly, and also conveyed this to the world. Saying, okay, I'm building this. This is happening. And so after that, there was more or less a product that was usable. And once you have that, it's somewhat feature complete, at least the MVP version, then you can take a step back and ask yourself, okay, let's do a little bit deeper market research. So what is it that users of a fixed effects regression package in Python really need to start adopting it? What are the competitors offering? So what is out there in the R and Stata ecosystem that might actually be a requirement for people to adopt my tool? And then also try to define a little bit, okay, what is it actually that we try to build with PyFixest? And so then you can more or less go through each of these. So if you're using an open source package as users, right, it's super important that the package is clearly documented, right? That you can figure out, okay, what is actually going on under the hood, how to use specific functions. Examples need to be clear. Support needs to be fast, right? And so there's this idea that open source is something like a signaling game, and I'll repeat this later on. So I want you to use the package that we're building, and I have to signal to you that we're really committed to building high quality software. Because fundamentally, you're not going to actually read the code. It's like, I'm not sure if you read the code. We can do a check. You use open source, who looks at the source code? Yes, 1, 2, okay. So like, few people do it. Even fewer people look at if there's unit tests, for example. But some way then, open source developers have to communicate that they're serious, that they try to build high quality software. And by responding quickly if there's bug reports or if there are feature requests, that's one clear way to say, okay, we're serious about this. Competitive landscape. So obviously the data and our ecosystems, they are super developed. You can do plenty of things in Stata that you cannot do in Python or couldn't do until 2 years ago. The same applies to R. So we reflected a little bit, okay, what are the core tools that people use to write an applied microeconometrics paper purely in Python? And so the solution is actually quite simple. We went to the Stata journal, 10 minutes. Oh my God, I'm talking a very long time. We went to the Stata journal, looked, okay, what is it that people actually cite and what did they use? And that's a clear sign for need. And then define the product space, which fundamentally was, you should be able to write an applied econometrics paper in Python. End-to-end, or slight alternation of this. Basically, Gabor should be able to use PyFixest as the only Python package when teaching his class. Okay. And after that, the roadmap is kind of clear. We knew what we wanted to build. And then I figured out, okay, maybe product market fit is not all that was needed to build a successful product after all. And so this is also then going into the kind of business world. Marketing is super important. I want people to use PyFixest because I think it's a great package. And one key element is then people have to know that the solution exists. So I have to tell them. About it. And so what we're doing is we go to conferences. We say, okay, there's a solution out there. Have you tried it? It works quite well. I kind of had to jump over my own shadow to turn something like a social media influencer. Yeah, so you might see me post on LinkedIn quite a lot about new releases. And then one other thing that I noticed is that it's not possible to do everything by myself. So I started to very actively seek for contributors. And here's a prime example of how things work like. If you look under the hood of how these fixed effects regression models are implemented, they apply a demeaning algorithm, and that demeaning algorithm is basically a bunch of for loops. So if you implement this in pure Python, it's going to be very slow. And what typically happens is you go to a lower level language, and you have to have some experience with that to actually make the lower level language run fast. And I didn't have this at all. And I tried, and also with the LLMs back in the day, I tried to optimize it, but I couldn't figure it out. So here was a cry for help for me. I went to the Numba forum, which is basically just-in-time compiled Python, and said, hey, I'm really struggling here. Can someone help me? And it's like I was super amazed. So what happened? I posted this, and 3 days later, here Stephen, who's back then he was a PhD student in Zurich, showed up in the PyFixest repository and had re-implemented my code, and it was 5x faster. It was just awesome experience. Yeah. So maybe my single best open source developer experience, ever. So like really cool. Okay, and after that, there's some project management components that you also see if you work in larger organizations. Maybe the community building is not so interesting. So this kind of seeking out for help, trying to work with people. For me, a key component is that there's some people that have skills that I don't have, but it's also more fun, right? Not to just basically work by myself. Then in bigger companies, what you will see is usually there's going to be something like a roadmap, and you need to have these roadmaps so that everyone knows, okay, where are we going? What is the goal? What is it that we're actually trying to build? And if you don't have that in open source, people cannot contribute to your project, right? So this means that you need to have good issues that people can tackle. You need to explain a little bit, okay, what are the features that we want to build? What is it that we're not going to build? You have to figure out, okay, how do you prioritize things? And you also have to triage. So I have this problem. I want to include every single new estimator that is out there into PyFixest, but I shouldn't do that because this has to be maintained and might just be out of scope. And so this is then often called feature creep. And you will see the exact same issue in bigger companies that ask, okay, should we really build this feature? Is this a smart investment? After all, or does it not simply have high opportunity costs and then also maintenance costs going forward? So this is one thing that you learn, and then there's also just kind of a takeaway because everyone is talking about AI. I also want to mention this. It's like this one clear thing. So AI tools can help a lot with coding many things. So whenever a new model comes out, I tried one harder task that I couldn't do before, and usually it didn't work out perfectly, but it worked out kind of well. I would encourage you to do that, but probably you're all doing this already. Okay, now, oops, that's the wrong one. So then do open source packages. Now, if you think about product strategy, right, you always think about in venture capital terms, is there something like a moat that will protect the open source world? Does it make sense to invest my time into contributing to this package? Will it not just be the future that all of you will ask your AI agent of choice, hey, please write me my custom fixed effects estimator, and then you roll with that, and basically PyFixest will be forgotten by everyone. This could be the case. I hope it will not be the case because vetting and validation that things actually work properly, that other people have used the resource in the past. I think this plays a big role in building trust. But we'll see how things play out here. Okay, then one last slide. You can contribute, of course. Yeah. So if you're interested in working on open source, please talk to me. I'm always super happy to work. There's a GitHub repo with this fantastic logo that I think GTP created at some point, or the kind of image model. And so I wanna end with: does contributing to open source, kind of as a student for you, does it make sense in the age of large language models? So is there still a lot of value in getting really good at coding? Should you still invest in coding skills in this days? Because argument could be, okay, maybe these coding tools are just much better than you will ever be. And so for now, I think they're much better than I will ever be. But so I think if you think of, like, you just write down the simple profit function that you probably have seen in your microeconomics classes, and it's some time ago that I took that class, so yeah, please criticize my model. There's two key components in there, right? There's the total revenue that you make, so the return to actually having the coding ability, that is called Q here, but there's also a cost function. And so I think both variables have changed drastically in the age of LLMs, right? So one is maybe the returns are different than they were 10 years ago to learn how to code and being able to code at a very high level. But at the other hand, the cost has gone down drastically. So it's like learning to code, I've probably never been easier than now, because you have this intellectual coding sparing partner, this actual literal co-pilot. Yeah, it's like talking about GitHub that can help you develop your coding skills and improve there. So I think there, I'm a little bit torn, and I want to close with why you should contribute to open source. There's this guy here, I'm not sure who knows him. His name is Rick Rubin. He's one of the most famous music producers of all time. He's involved in lots and lots and lots of albums that are great. And he had an interview a couple of years ago where he was asked, like, what do you do actually as a producer? What skills do you have? And he said, I actually cannot do anything. I cannot read notes. I cannot play music. I cannot hear, what is it? I know nothing. I know nothing about anything, basically. I just sit in the studio, but I have one thing. I have taste. Yeah. And so I think this is the kind of key thing that you can develop if you work on open source code basis. You can develop taste about what is good code, what is maintainable code, how should a project look like. And this, I think, for the foreseeable future, everyone working with code will need to figure out, okay, is this actually good code that the LLM provided me here with? Can we maintain this? And so, yeah, that's it from my side. Thanks.